crisscross applesauce today. I was told no one liked to look in the bottom of my feet, so I'm very conscious about it.
Here.
Save that for the OnlyFans.
Yeah. That's where we'll get our real money from.
Yeah, the Patreon and OnlyFans that we don't have. Wink.
We could create one.
All right.
How's it going, Chris?
It's going.
Yeah?
How are you?
Pretty good.
Oh, we got our first guest coming on.
Suki's coming.
Come here, kiddo.
For those of you who can't see, Suki's our resident house
Just
dog.
resident. She's our lobby ambassador.
Our lobby ambassador.
Welcome back, you lobby lizards. You loyal listening lobby lizards. It's a tongue twister. Unique New York. Unique New York.
What are we talking about this week?
Let's talk cars. Let's talk
Ooh,
shop.
Fun, yeah.
Some valet stories.
Valet's a fun job.
That was my sort of introduction to luxury hotels. When I moved to Utah, we worked at a ski and ski out resort, and valet was in-house, which is kind of rare, but it was valet/bell. So I mean, you're
What
running.
does that mean, in-house?
That's a great question, Mitchell, for those listening. Preach. In-house means it's sourced directly from the hotel. So like they would do the hiring. They wouldn't use a third-party company to do those services.
And that's not normal?
It's not normal in cities, it seems, in my experience. I think just for liability and insurance, it's just cheaper to hire a company that already has it set up rather than just doing it yourself. That's a few steps above my pay grade, but I'm just guessing, speculating.
Yeah, I think it is a lot with like liability.
Yeah.
Of like why they hire a third party to do it.
Because, 99% of the time there's nothing that's going to happen wrong with their vehicle, but here's to the 1%ers. Cheers.
Cheers to
Coors.
that. Wait, can we actually cheers?
Yeah, we can.
Look at that.
Oh, we need to get you a glass bottle.
Do,
That was so unsatisfactory.
I do love valeting my car when I go places.
Oh yeah,
If
I feel like a king.
Bougie, yeah.
I feel like I just throw my keys at him and say, keep it close.
They're like this Volkswagen? I don't think so.
You have a dent in your bumper and there's trash everywhere. There's so much dog hair.
Down on the bottom level of the parking garage.
Yeah, like, no, we're putting this away immediately.
Yeah.
You should just park that yourself.
Yeah. There definitely were like spots reserved for the nicest cars that were on at a period of time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, if you grow up with a Rolls Royce, Bentleys, even I don't love the vehicles, but G-Wagons do get preferentials because they look cool.
Yep.
Even though they drive like boats and they're not fun to actually drive. Of course, McLarens.
Yeah.
For all the big sports cars, those come in, those stay up top. Mainly because if your garage has a ramp, those sports cars ain't getting in.
Yeah.
Because you're going to damage the heck out of them.
I never formally worked for valet, but I would always help out when they got busy or when there was a really nice car and I was friends with the manager and they'd call me to come drive it with them.
Nice. That's one of the benefits of learning a stick shift as my first vehicle.
Oh.
Thank you, Jim. Where it's a dying art. Mm-hmm. So I actually do we're not technically supposed to be in the vehicles because it's, again, as discussed, third party company, different insurances and what have you. But if there's a stick shift in the middle of the drive, they can't move. It stops the entire operation. Yeah. So sometimes I get the call. They send the bat signal up, and I'm out there.
When you're running a valet team, do you always make sure someone is on that drive stick? Is that like a scheduling thing, or do you just hope?
I think it's at this point it's more just hoping that there's someone, because there's been times because no one on staff can drive. That's when they'll come ask me for help.
Like someone on property has to be able to.
I'd imagine there's got to be at least one
older dude.
One boomer. That's me. Yeah. I'm
the
the oldest person in my department. I'm 31.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
That's how it goes in hotels, I feel like. Yeah, it's crazy. I have a really funny, crazy valet story, actually.
Oh, do tell, and then I'm going to try to one up after that.
You probably can because you worked actually in valet.
That's fair.
I was like valet adjacent. But I was working an overnight shift and like in the middle of the night, it was probably like right after midnight or something. There was only one valet attendant working and they come into the back office. I was at the front desk and they're like, Mitchell, I can't find this car. And the guest is like requesting their car. I can't find it. And so we like go searching. I like help them. They're like, the keys aren't here. And
what?
Like after, like searching the garage, looking for the keys, can't find the keys. The car's not there. Go to the security booth and look at the cameras, and the car was stolen. Like you could barely
Excuse me?
see that like someone got in the car and drove away that was not a valet person and not the owner of the car.
How did this happen?
And I think even before we found out that the car was stolen, because the guest was like waiting there, and I like as the manager on duty of like the overnight shift, like the valet, there's no manager there at the time. So I went and talked to the guest. I'm like, do you have an extra set of keys to this car? Like, are you sure that you parked it here and you didn't like get in and drive away, or like give it to someone else and they came and drove
You have to do an investigation first before you jump to conclusions.
And they're like, why?
Yeah.
We're like, well, we can't find your car.
Your car's not here. Sorry, mister.
So then, checking the security tapes, found out someone got in and drove away. And after like a lot of investigation, everything, we found out that these two guys were actually like casing the valet stand and were like at the property for a while. They were like walking like up and down the front drive and along the side, and they would like come into the lobby and like look, because you could see the valet booth from inside the lobby and you could like see the back end of it. So we're like looking at that. They're like, go use the bathroom, like walk around the lobby, whatever. And then just like waiting for the perfect moment. And it happened because there was only one valet person and two cars pulled up to be parked. The valet person took both of their keys and kept the first car's keys on them and parked it. Where they messed up is they put the second set of keys in the valet booth, which is what you're supposed to do, but you're supposed to lock it afterwards. Well, they didn't lock the drawer that it was in. So they park the first car, and then the guy that was inside, there were two guys casing. The guy that was inside the hotel took the keys out of the drawer, and then walked around the corner, handed them to his buddy, and the buddy came around the corner, got in the car, and drove away. And then we could see him like walking like down the street, like the second guy.
And they were there at least that day. They might have been there. Like, did you look back to see if? I mean, there's no way to really. You could look back, but you'd be pouring over hours of footage.
That's like a needle in the haystack for that far back. But they were there for a while that day.
They clearly have done this before.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing for sure.
Not at that location necessarily.
But what the people who sold the car didn't know is, well, first, the guy whose car it was that was parking and staying at the hotel, it was actually a Turo rental car. It's like Airbnb for cars, so you can like rent someone's personal car.
Which I personally used. Shout out Turo. Great deals, great people, better
Love
pizza,
Turo.
better
They're
pasta.
Love Turo. And so the guy who was staying with us was super chill and honestly didn't really care. He's like, it's obviously not my fault. It's not even my car. I don't really care. Like, this is your guys'
like,
problem.
Good luck.
Yeah. He didn't really care. And he didn't really even need his car. I think actually he was just like outside smoking and noticed his car wasn't there anymore. And like, that's kind of how it came up. And so he was super chill, which was really nice. But then because it wasn't his car and he was renting it from Turo, I think he like on the app or something alerted the owner of the car that the car was stolen.
Definitely seems like a good first step.
Yeah,
for sure.
And of course we like called the police, and the police take like 6 hours to get there because it's just a stolen car. Like, nothing urgent is happening. And the owner of the car, mind you, this is like 2, 3, 4 in the morning at this point. The owner of the car is like so pissed and so mad, and is like calling the hotel and like gets in contact with me and like won't stop calling. And like, I'm trying my best to like tell him what's going on and that we're waiting for the police. And like, until the police show up, there's really not much we can do about it. And that like the valet manager is going to be in soon, and there'll be a claim, and like, we'll take care of it, and like, everything's going to be fine. But he wanted things resolved like right then and there at like 2 a.m. in the morning, which, like, fair, his car was just stolen, but also there's not much you can do.
The only people awake are current party included.
Yeah. And so,
And when you say, what do you mean by claim?
like anytime something happens to a valet car when it's in valet's possession, whether it's like a tiny scratch or a dent or your car gets stolen, the
All the way up
valet
to
company will like write and submit a claim, and then their internal claims department reviews it and sees if they're gonna like reimburse or fix or whatever to the guest's car.
Cool.
So
Makes sense. Internal investigations.
that's like a good like security blanket if you're. I know people who are like nervous or hate valeting, but even if your car does get scratched or dented or stolen, like the valet company is responsible and liable and will fix or pay or buy you a new car, like whatever. So it's safe to valet your car.
I mean, they'll try not to.
They'll try not to.
They'll do
for
their
sure.
best to not, but
Yeah.
if it's genuine damage done, they'll take care of it. It just takes a little bit.
So then because this car was a Turo, the owner of the car had 3 different GPS devices in the car. It was a nice car too. I think it was like a nice BMW or something. The owner of the car had 3 different tracking devices in the car, and we knew these people were professional because they removed 2 of them, and he could tell that they were like the owner could tell that 2 of his devices were removed, but they didn't find the 3rd one. So he knew where the car was this whole time, and I don't think he even told us this until like a little bit later. And like finally, when he's like telling us this, and we're like, the police are finally showing up, he's finally giving us all this information. I didn't call and wake up the valet manager because I'm like, there's nothing she can do at this time. Like I can handle it until she wakes up. I like text her. I'm like, call me when you wake up. And that all worked out. But the guy finally told us like the location of it, and the police were there, and we, you know, him and the police were talking, and the police went and found the car, and the guy was there, and they arrested him. And they like brought the car back, and the car was fine.
They hadn't gotten up on cinder blocks yet.
Yeah, no.
Pulled the rims off.
No.
Taken the CD player.
I don't think there was any damage at all to the car.
Dang.
That I remember.
I mean, that's a very quick resolution.
I mean,
that's the best case scenario for that scenario.
It was probably like 8 to 10 hours later, but
That's still pretty good, I'd say.
I mean, to get the car back at all, period. I think
Exactly. Yeah.
good situation.
That again, the best case of that worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Happened.
Yeah, and I think that even like, obviously this person didn't pay for the valet, but the thing that the person who was staying at our hotel was really pissed off about later was that Turo banned him from renting Turos.
What?
Because his Turo got stolen. And so then he was mad at us because now he can't book Turos anymore.
Yeah.
Because it got stolen under our account. And I
feel like he could dispute that.
I think we like wrote an email or like submitted a letter or something for him to submit to Turo. I don't know how that turned out. He never like followed up again with us, but
Honestly, I'm on the guest side.
oh, for sure.
100%. I think
Yeah.
I would be furious.
I'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can also understand why Turo would block you from that. Because like Turo doesn't know that it was the valet's fault.
They had no idea Valet was involved at all.
Yeah. They just know that this car was stolen and you're the one that was in
Possession.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't really think about that aspect of
And
it.
maybe even like the owner of the car might have reported him or something.
Because it does seem fishy. It could.
Yeah. And he was a little sketch because we're like, why are you so calm? You know, he was so calm and like nice. And we're like, what is wrong?
Do you think it was an inside job?
That's what our thoughts were at one point.
Did you look the guest up?
The guy that was on the Turo was like there was like 3 of them instead of just the 2 of them.
Oh, he's the mastermind.
Maybe.
Hiding in plain sight.
But then they got the freaking car back, so he's not very good at it, I guess.
But maybe he was unaware of the air tags
Yeah.
in general. Because if I was renting a car, I wouldn't tell anybody about those.
Oh, no.
For sure.
Not.
Yeah. So
The owner of the car was really smart by putting those in
general.
and he knew what he was doing because he put 3.
Yeah.
Like, if I was doing it, I'd like maybe put 1 and try to hide it.
Yeah. Maybe is the.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd think of that at all.
Yeah.
That's why we don't own a business. Yeah.
And yeah, so he got the car back. He's banned from Turo. Might still be banned. I'm not sure.
Wow.
But
wow.
that was a fun night.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All the exciting things that happen on the overnight shift.
It's always the most wild things.
Always.
when like you could need and use support
Oh yeah.
from like other leaders.
Yeah.
And it just
It's when you're like fully there by yourself.
comms are down.
No one's there. Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah. All the systems go out. A car's getting stolen. It's all happening at the same time.
There's fires.
Yeah.
Flooding.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean,
flooding.
people all
flooding
hands
is a whole episode.
That might be a couple.
A couple.
Especially
episodes.
from our recent location.
The hotel we worked at. That's an episode for every flood. That's like a year's worth of
365
episodes.
Yeah. Sidebar on that.
Oh man.
Golly.
Do you have any crazy memorable like valet stories from when you were parking?
I've got a couple, some quick ones. I take back my one-upping story though. That was, you should have gone second. There's one from, again, the Utah job. I remember this one's quick. It was me and one other guy. We're working the AM shift, 7 to 3:30. Beautiful summer day. Like low occupancy, only 2 guys on, one up top. The parking garage was 3 levels below. So the lobby level was technically level 5 of the hotel because it was built into a mountain. So the parking garage was down and around, and you had to run/walk up 3 flights of stairs. Yeah. This is important information.
You have to be, like, fit to do valet, I feel like. Dude, I mean, a lot of people aren't, but
we joked. I joked. I was not joking about making a calendar because we were a good-looking bunch of hot young valet/bellmen.
That's how valet should be.
Yes, and one of the guys used to play college football too. He was ripped. I was like, dude, we should take some pics, make a calendar like the firemen do.
Yeah.
They do pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's me and my buddy on that day, quiet day, until it wasn't. There was an event happening that I don't know where down the chain of command the information was not transposed from like a resume pack that it was a drive-in event, and we had 100 cars roll up for 2 of us.
Wow.
And it's not like in the middle of a city where you can call in reinforcements. It's just we're at 9,000 feet elevation, and like there's nothing around. We're literally at the top of a mountain.
Just for context, for those of you who've never worked in a hotel or don't know, like a resume is like when a group comes in and they're working with like the sales and catering team, and they like put together all the details of the event. And usually what they should be asking or like putting in there is like, how many people are driving in? How many people are using Ubers? How many people are like taking a bus?
And that's for every single like
every
timeline.
Single event, like timeline, the entire time they're there, like when they're driving in, when they're driving out. All of that information is very detailed and in a resume. And it's for every single department that is in the hotel. And like valet like has a section of like all their details. And so that information, that's like a huge miss of not putting it in there.
Well, to be fair, I don't know if it was not put in there or it was. It wasn't information that was like scheduled. It very well could have been missed by our leadership team.
Yeah.
And they just didn't schedule someone.
Either way, that's a huge miss for like that many cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm exaggerating. It definitely wasn't 100 cars, but the first car was like a 1960s Volkswagen Beetle, and my buddy could like kind of drive stick, and it was like a four-speed old thing. He got in this, and I wish I could show a picture of this property. It's gorgeous, huge porte cochere, and just grand. It was dope.
Yeah.
So he gets in and he starts pulling around, and this thing is going like stop, go. It's rocking. Like he can't get that first gear locked in, and he's just riding the clutch the entire time and scared to let it go. Yeah. And you can see it happen. Like this dude's about to drop the transmission out of this car. Oh God. So he gets out and he looks at me. He's like, Hoagie. He threw his hands there. I can't do it. And just like walked away. So I ran up, dropped it, and I remember I checked my phone later that day on my like health app. It climbed over 100 flights of stairs that day.
Oh God.
But just by the amount of cars. Yeah. And by climb, we were sprinting running every other stair. Yeah that was a rough day.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Wow,
but fun and a great story to look back upon.
Parking garages are so weird, especially like the hotel I worked at in Boston. Our valet garage was like 2.5 blocks away from the hotel, and so they had to, and it was on a one-way street. So you had to like drive so long.
Well,
to
every
get
street in
there.
Boston's a one-way street.
Yeah,
That's why they're so
exactly.
mad all the time. Because they
Yeah.
can't get where you want to go.
Can't get anywhere.
They're good drivers. They're just pissed.
Yeah. And so like to park one car took so long because to like physically park it and then to get back, like they had to like run 2.5 blocks to get back to the hotel. It's like go get a car or something.
And you know they ain't running.
No,
They're on their
they're
phones.
not running.
I've seen as soon as they turn the corner, it just brakes go on. They're on their phone, walking to the location, doing whatever they're doing.
For sure.
I know because I did that.
Yeah.
I personally, I can speak on behalf of that.
I loved helping out valeting cars there. Like when I was working the front desk, helping out in Boston because you got like a little break. It was like a 20-minute break that I just like got to sit in silence in the car and like not have someone yelling at me or something. Like this is so peaceful. But at that hotel, there wasn't like a front drive or like it was just the street. Like the hotel was on the street. And so if there were more than like 5 cars that were trying to be valeted, then like you just start going into like 3, 4, 5 rows out into the street. And then the police would come up and they would just start writing tickets and like slapping them on the window of like parked cars in front of the hotel. And then we would go out there and we would just like rip the ticket off and be like, we'll take care of this for you. I'm so sorry. We'll be right with you. And so at the end, that happened every single event, every like gala that was driving.
Oh
like,
yeah, for
we
sure.
just knew that was happening. So we'd like be out there taking the tickets from the cop. We'd be like following around to each car and be like, we'll take that. Thank you.
That's obnoxious.
And we'll all like have a stack of like parking tickets at the end of the night that we had to pay.
They're on the website looking for events. They're like, that's the money maker.
Yeah,
we're gonna hit our quotas
Yeah.
on that day.
Uh-huh.
Oh lordy,
It happened. But yeah, driving valet is fun.
it is. In some settings, people have in their vehicles that you'd hop in, like some because you aren't supposed to adjust any settings. So if you leave your heater blasting in the middle of summer,
Yeah.
I will be turning that down or off. I'm rolling down windows. I did not care.
Yeah.
I have a level of comfort that I need when I'm in a vehicle.
Wait, isn't it a thing too that
You
when
can't.
you're parking, you like roll the window down?
What?
That was the thing at the hotel we worked at. They would always roll when they were driving the car, they would roll the driver's side window like halfway down. I think to like here.
That makes sense. Yeah, because you're going around some blind corners. They have the concave mirrors, of course,
Yeah.
in the upper
in the
corners, so
garage.
you can see. But there's people are also walking around. That location too had a self park option, so there's people. Just
yeah.
there's children
Yeah.
willy nilly.
Yeah.
Keep your children on a leash, by the way, when you're in public spaces. I'm a big child leash person. I don't need that around my feet. Thank you.
And then there was this one time I got into a car to park it. They like pulled up on the front drive. Or no, I was pulling it from the garage to the front drive and I didn't know how to like put it in park. Like it was so fancy. I like didn't know what
Some
to
of the
do.
new cars, like if you aren't familiar, like it is
Yeah.
a lot. It's like a spaceship in
And then
some
the
of these
owner's
things.
like trying to open the door because it was his car, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
I can't take my foot off the brake, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna blow.
He's like, it's right there. He like knew what was going on.
I'm like, my car doesn't even have a backup camera, and some of these things, I'm like, it's all
Same.
touchscreen. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's too much. We need to chill. We need to chill.
I have a backup camera, but it's like teeny tiny. It's like this
Yeah.
big, and that was like a big thing back in the day. It's like one of the first ones, and it was so cool. Now I'm like, I can't even see out of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doesn't help
it
at all.
Doesn't do anything.
I can also, in terms of valet, if you didn't tip before sometimes, and maybe I had like pizza the night before, lots of cheese, I'm farting in your car with the windows up. I've done that.
That's
My
so
team,
bad.
like, I can't speak from currently, but
Yeah.
no, if you were rude,
I'm sure that happens.
if you were rude or didn't tip at all, and it was like the last day, and you were checking out, I'm like, oh, I'm letting it ride. I'm letting it rip up in there.
Yeah.
I'll marinate in it. I don't care. I'll hotbox that car with my insides.
So bad.
Oh yeah.
I've definitely heard of stories too. And like we said at the beginning, most of the time valeting is perfectly fine. This is like this is like the 1% of times that valeting your car is probably not the best idea. But you have no idea. Like there was someone that like got fired for like taking a car on a joyride. They just like went on the highway and like were
I believe it.
Yeah.
I never did that
No.
because well, again, it wasn't on top of a mountain, so it was really hard to like do that. But there's some blind spots where you can kind of like hit the gas.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that is fun.
Yeah. Oh man.
I think in one of the garages, I'm trying to think. It's supposed to be 5-10 miles an hour. I think I got one up to like 35 or 40 miles an hour at one point.
Inside the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I was Tokyo drifting that. Not actually drifting, but it was a straightaway. But I was like, I wonder how fast I could go.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that happened a lot is in a parking garage. All the time, you don't have cell service, and if you have a Tesla and you don't have the key, and the key is your phone, and your phone doesn't work in the parking garage, then you can't get your car out.
A lot of places now won't park a Tesla without a physical key because of that
smart.
reason.
Yeah.
But then also,
I think there's a lot of self-parkers, though, and they don't know that. That's what happened at the hotel we worked at. It was a self-parker.
Because I'm at a valet only now. Like, there's no self-park option, so.
Oh, at your hotel right now? Oh, okay.
It's such a small garage. It's just
Yeah,
like, and
that makes
there's
sense.
it's a small garage.
Yeah.
It's a small garage, if you will.
But this guy had to fly home and get his physical key and fly back to get his
No,
car.
he didn't have to do that. He chose to.
How else would you get the car out?
Tesla will make you a new key.
Oh.
The factory is literally here in Austin.
Okay, I guess, yeah.
I that was a choice they made. They didn't have to do that. He doesn't have a friendly neighbor that can ship that out to him either, or like overnight that.
I don't know.
I don't see.
I mean, we didn't pay for it because he was self-parker. So like,
Oh yeah, be like
That wasn't our
we'll just
fault.
take care of the self-parking charges.
no, I'm pretty sure we charged him the entire 3 extra days that he parked
Oh,
there.
nice. Hell yeah.
His car was in the garage.
Yeah, you're using it. Another thing with the phone apps, when a valet takes the car down to the garage and it loses that connection, the last ping you have on your phone is the car being unlocked and on. So it's going to continue saying that even when the valet has parked the car and it's turned off and or also
So they'll
charging
call down freaking out. They're like, why is my car on?
every time. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
about 10,000 feet of concrete between you and that vehicle right now.
Yeah.
There's no
You
service.
have no idea.
It's not connect. Like,
Go look at it.
I'll take you down there myself.
Yeah.
That's a pretty common theme with these EVs and all these darn gadgets.
I think my biggest tip for valet is call your car like way before you think you need it if you want it on time.
Yeah.
Like you can't come to the front drive and request your car and stand there and expect it to immediately show up.
Yeah, they're not magicians.
Yeah.
Not David Blaine's.
Like you have to
Chris Angel.
minimum 10 minutes before you want your car.
Especially at bigger properties, for
Yeah.
sure.
Like potentially 20 minutes even.
Yep.
I mean, that like messes up the valet flow sometimes, but
Yeah,
like,
because your car,
then your car's like sitting on the front drive for a while.
because some have internal policies of like no car, 5-minute stage times on the front drive staging,
Yeah.
where we're leaving it up front. Mm-hmm. But after 5 or 10 minutes, they'll bring it right back down because
Yeah.
we got time for that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if it's a shitty car.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to let that sit on the front drive.
And then to stand up for my guys and gals in valet, if you come down after you've requested your car 2 minutes ago, saying that they're the reason why you're going to be late, you were already late.
Yeah.
Don't put that on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put it on the boys and girls down there.
Yeah.
Not on my watch.
And tip your valet. Always. That's a tip position. If you are
Yes.
choosing to valet your car or are forced to valet your car because that's the only option, you have to tip. It's like not an option.
And they will prioritize you, especially, when I go places, I'll start off with a 10.
Yeah.
I'll work it back. I'll work down from there.
Yeah.
But they'll remember me and be like, oh, yes, Mr. Hogan, let me bring your car right around.
Yep. And especially if you're a frequent flyer somewhere at like a restaurant or a hotel that you always valet, like they will remember you and they will remember that you tip.
They should remember you.
They might not remember your name, but they'll remember your car and your face. And if you tip well, like,
your
they will treat
stanky ass
you
cologne
well.
you got on, whatever it
Yeah.
is, your perfume that's.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, also go light on perfumes in the vehicle, please.
I think that's just a general life thing that's good for me. I'm very sensitive.
Not
to
you.
that.
I'm not saying to you.
No, I'm very sensitive to like smells.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I get headaches.
Me too.
Migraines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. So just be nice. Tip them. don't yell at
There's a
them.
lot of rules with valeting.
Yeah. Yeah, we
But
had
in
that
general, it's really good. It's safe. Nothing crazy is gonna happen, and if it does, you'll have a really good story to tell.
and you can look back on this episode and say, they told me so.
You can come on and tell your story.
Yeah, write in. What's your email?
Tell us your horrible valet stories. info@beyondthelobbypodcast.com.
You heard it here first, folks.
All right.
All right, you lizards. We're signing off.
Until next week.
Until next week. Shakalaka.